Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 176th episode of Book of Hours, playing as the artist. And you know what? It's been a while since we've described the artist, so Picasso? I'll give you Picasso. The artist came to Hush House to shape and share a history of primal, ultimate, unprecedented experience. But you can complete the game by recording any history. You might wish to begin your studies with the Bosk wisdom. And Memories, the artist. Data was a start. This realist manifesto? A step along the road, but only a step. The road goes nowhere unless it goes into the wood, and that's a road we can only walk in the dark. Wait, no, not in the dark. In blood. Deep in blood. Oh, shut up, give it to me, I'll write it. Now, as is usual, over the course of a week, I've utterly forgotten what I was up to. We are restoring my metal. I think I was also going to be working on leveling up Disciplines of the Scar and Sickle and Eclipse. So the first thing I'll do here is just quickly pause and unpause. It doesn't look like I'm reading a lot of books right now. So let me, the one nice thing is now that I have a digital form of note-keeping, I'm a little more disciplined in making sure that I have a record of what I was up to last stream. So let's bring that up and see where we are at. Okay, so I've got a note here for foresight, perception, no, revelation, fear, contradiction, bittersweet certainty, Newman, old wound, winning move, old moment, and wormwood dream. So that's pretty easy for me to see here. This is related to Disciplines of the Scar. Huh. So I'm trying to figure out why. I've got a note here that seems to be banking information. Just want to make sure it's not. Alright, I'm erasing it. Alright, sorry about that. But yeah, so if memory serves, I was working on leveling up Disciplines of the Scar, and then I think we were also having a conversation with the Fisherman. Fisherman is now up to 13 Moon, which I believe is enough for the Perilous Path. Okay, so with the second half of the day, we're good to focus on these memories. So, for Disciplines of the Scar, I've got, so it's going to be 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to write a little, so I've got contradiction and certainty. And the Bells of Ease should also handle that. Yep. Technically, I just need 2 memories. After that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So, without any help from the Fisherman, we would actually be able to level up Disciplines of the Scar twice. It'd be nice if I can go a little bit further, but I'm feeling pretty confident with where we're at. I should also remember that for memories I can get from the Fisherman, it's really foresight, revelation, and fear. I should probably put some thought into when I want to sort of pull the trigger on one of these and level it up. I don't know. We have time in the day, so I'm bringing back another element of the soul, and that's probably just so that I can make some money off of it. I'm happy with this group here again. 2 core and health is 3, and then 3 between the Fosk, Shaft, and Whist, which means the metal can be used to level up the Disciplines of the Scar. All right, the sustenance has boosted their aspects appropriately. So let's have a chat with the Fisherman. I could encourage my assistant, work with them for a little while, exalt them. Or I could just listen to whatever they might have to say. So plenty of time. We'll send the fisherman off to the perilous path once the once the sun goes down. Of course, I want to make sure that I've leveled up Disciplines of the Scar at least once before the sun goes down. Okay, so there's the foresight. So really what I could do here probably is I could go for the... Let's just see what it'll take for a curious hunch. Yeah, so we really just need a memory for that. I'm slightly inclined to say, let's just take the Curious Hunch and the Old Wound. We'll use the elements of the soul here to regenerate those. And we have sort of a clean slate to work with for the Fisherman. So I've learned something, or perhaps just remembered it. I think that's going to be how I do this. So it's probably a little premature to be triggering all of these, but I also want lots of time to be able to get the... basically to be able to get the things that I need to level up. So we will take Disciplines of the Scar, One Lesson, Contradiction, Bittersweet Certainty, Foresight, Newman, and you know what? We don't even need to go that far. We'll just take the Old Wound and... Oh! Good to know I messed up the order of that. Why did I think the Tryst would do the trick? Okay, I'm good to lock this in. Let's take a minute here and think about next steps. So again, 13, we're good to go there. I definitely want to bring back the... Oh, I remember. I was probably going to use that Tryst to bring the Wormwood Dream back. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Explore an old wound to awaken the violent resonances within. So looking at this, we've got 2, 3, 4... 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I've got 5 that I can bring to bear. This means that the Curious Hunch might be on sort of one of the tools that I use to bring... it might be one of the tools that I use to get my level 6 up. But let's focus on getting some memories. Alright, I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. So this is because essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm restoring the things that I can carry overnight. The next question, of course, would be, alright, after that, you know, what do I need to restore my my various memories? What do I need to get the higher level? And really, that's going to be a question of how far we go with the Fisherman tonight. So, you know, ideally, actually, this is good. So I get another whist to play around with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually don't need to worry about any of these. I'm going to do one more restoration. And that's just because I know that I can get away with using that whisk to earn some money. And again, that's brought me back to my 5 here. I probably wound up giving up a little bit more change than I should have, but it does give me a bit more comfort as far as the level up goes. We're going to need to make some decisions on that pretty soon. Okay, Stolen Secret doesn't really help me with Disciplines of the Scar. The skill is now level 6. Its power aspects have also increased. And I think I'm going to try and be a bit brave with this and wait the 30 seconds to see what the bells and the birds bring. I know I only I only need to worry about 30 seconds into the night, so we should have some surplus. Okay, gossip doesn't really do much for me here, but fair enough. We'll keep talking to the fishermen, but this is the point where I want to start thinking about how I'm leveling up. How I'm going to be leveling all of this up. So, Bells of Ys. Maranus Spitelli, a fragment of iron alloy meteorite carefully inscribed and polished. Who gave us fire? Who gave us steel? What is the sound of dusk? Of what alloy is wind forged? Esoteric secrets of metallurgy and resonance are revealed, including directions towards the creation of a terrible bell. Alright, so this is just going to take a little bit of thought on my part. So essentially what we want to do is we want to take this up to level 6. So we've got 5 elements of the soul to work with. The original plan was going to be that I would take maybe my whist or something like that and throw it at Disciplines of the Scar. Now, I'm going to need to decide that. I guess we'll decide that within 30 seconds or so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, no, we can set aside this whist and then use the Arab. That's going to push me a little bit in terms of time available, but not... I don't think that's enough to raise alarm bells over. So let's take a minute here and think about the memories that I can use to level this stuff up. So... got the Newman already. Technically I have the Old Wound. I'm going to say the Forbidden Epic, I'm going to say most of the things that require higher levels are off limits. So Bittersweet Certainty, Contradiction. Yeah, so if we go for Bittersweet Certainty, Contradiction, Fear, Revelation, and Foresight, we should be good to go. So the easiest thing for me to start with right now are the things that I know the fisherman won't be able to generate. So we'll start with the Bittersweet Certainty. We'll grab the Contradiction as well. And then, I mean, really it's just a question, you know, Foresight, Revelation, Fear. There's absolutely no indication as to which one is going to give me what I need. Or sorry, which one is more likely for the fisherman. I mean, I'm sorry. It's been a bit of a crazy day today, so I still haven't properly settled in to do the stream yet. But yeah, so we don't need to worry about any overlaps if we just go for the Contradiction and the Bittersweet Certainty. So that'll be 3 of the 6 that we need automatically. I can't remember what shelf I put the Contradictions on. It should be easy to find though because of our friend CROD. There we go. I'll try Honey, a Comprehensive Guide. I might have read that already, but... Okay, so we've got Fear, Revelation, and Foresight to bring in. I'm going to say that Foresight is probably the most likely of the 3. I'm just asserting that without any evidence at all. But in this case, we'll read one of the Fear texts. Trying to remember... I think we did Encircling Tantra, so I guess we're on to Nyx Abolix now. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. And that would leave me with Revelation. Now, we don't normally look at the scrolls, so in this case we will take the Watchful Tantra and use that. So I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. So in practical terms... Actually, you know what? Yeah, with the Arab we're going to be... I think at this point we just commit the Arab and call it. I'm not even going to worry about whether or not we get another Foresight, which means I guess it's still scroll time. Just double check. Yes. So in 20 seconds, we'll see whether or not I should be sad. I'll still keep using the fisherman to, like, I'll still generate memories with them because we don't know what we might get in the overnight. We may wind up with something that we can sleep on. But we also already have, like, the gossip and the stolen secret, which are, I don't know, nice to haves, I guess. There's something I can drag overnight. Not critical, though. I'm also trying to remember, I think I'd said that I was going to put something towards Sickle and Eclipse. It could be Disciplines of the Scar. It certainly makes sense. Because I probably would have put it towards Magaphine Mysteries otherwise. But I believe Disciplines of the Scar is the attractive option to take up to the higher level because it gives me an old moment. And given that I'll probably be using an old moment to level up Disciplines of the Scar, it's kind of like pulling myself up by my bootstraps. Okay. We're still waiting on the books to finish. We'll definitely send the fisherman to open up the chamber in a little bit. Alright, reading time. Nix Abolix, a grim treatise on those feasts that occur, those feasts that are not to be witnessed. The Alokites who feasted on their children and became monsters. The dragonkinds among the Carapace Cross who feasted on our flesh and became monsters. The Calavites who drank of Echidna's bounty and became monsters. Marinette, the Legion, so young, so hungry. All her children cannot slake her thirst. When Moth rose, another held the flaying key, but at the Grail's bidding did Marinette consume that she. So there's the fear. Honey the Comprehensive Guide, Harvey Haddington, pilot, polymath, confectioner, writes with great enthusiasm about the marvelous work of the bee. Haddington insists that all the primary aspects, nectar, scale, heart, lantern, moth, grail, are possessed by bees and expressed in honey. Clearly he points out there are only 6 primary aspects, as honeycomb has only 6 angles. Ugal Inc. is prepared with these techniques, but so is Skinshuck Mead, and only Skinshuck requires honey, just as any beverage or foodstuff can be improved with the addition of honey, so any garden is improved with the presence of bees, even those bloody Blumberendi. Oops. The Watchful Tantra, notorious for its involvement in the deaths of David Jones and Meredith Blaine, 2 early physicists who each claimed to have the only copy, and who ultimately fought a duel over it in 1840. The sun passes through the house at the appointed time. Since the sun's division, the time has become uncertain. And Bittersweet Certainty. Glimmerings, an anonymous prison diary written by a dreamer convicted of oniric irresponsibility and confined to the Cucurbit. The prisoner is plainly terrified and bewildered by their situation, and has been unable to wrangle a coherent explanation out of anyone. But the dreams keep coming, and they keep writing them down. Snow, broken mirrors, half-heard sky music, flowers of white, red, and black, a blood-streaked winter dawn, the most notorious signifiers of oniric risk, fantastically vivid and detailed. No wonder they were locked up. Their final recorded dream is of a worm jewel beneath Brankrug Isle, which they open with a key carved from their finger bone. Okay, let's see what happens here. So the storm doesn't do that much for me in terms of leveling up, but... Oh, here we go. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, the perilous path. This route was never safe, even before the last round of storms had their way with it. We're going to need to give this a minute again. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th is on its way. The Incandescent Tantra. Michael Blockley, the eccentric iron magnate, was fond of quoting from this tantra. Blockley died in a factory fire. Dialogues with an entity called the Crucible Prince. The prince warns about the appetites of his mistress, the Burning Queen, and the peril of the naked desire she shares with the sun, but professes his loyalty nevertheless. A rite which changes is necessarily a rite which destroys, but a great change requires a destruction of savage extent. Okay. So was it worth spending all that money to get the second level today? I don't know. Doesn't seem like a bad use of the time. We still have two points to level up, but I think we're in a good spot. I should probably take the time to improve the Wormwood Dream. An afternoon spent profitably reading newspapers to the curious, writing affectionate letters for the lonely, steering farmers through the requirements of the Ministry of Agriculture. I think maybe getting the Wormwood Dream back for today would set me up for the big push to level 9. It would also be kind of nice to know what's on the other end of this thing. But I'm going to bring in Mrs. Kill as a backup. Mrs. Kill, the midwife, is tall and gloomy. Mr. Kill, the undertaker, is slight and wry. For 10 years she has drawn villagers into the world, and he has shaped cradles for their departure, but she can also whittle, and he can also paint. Mrs. Kill's mood always improves when I drop by. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. And here we're going to go to the Sweet Bones. The Sweet Bones has been the public house in Brandkrug since Cromwell's time. Its history is notable, its beer is not. Guests looking for discreet employment or discreet assistance congregate in the snug. There's not much work on offer in Brandkrug, but I can find 6 pence worth of odd jobs. Okay, so we're going to get a source of memories from Mrs. Kill. We'll get some money right away at the Sweet Bones. I suppose with the Arab I can use that to generate... Oh, you know what? I didn't even pick a memory to keep overnight. That's a shame because I could have used that with the... to generate the Wormwood Dream. But we don't need to do that right away. One thing I can do right away is read one of the texts for the Newman. So we're going to go for the Bells of Ease again. I'll skip reading the Emiranis Batelli text, but I will read the description of the Bells of Ease. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. And I'm trying to think what else I would want to do with the day. I guess, so the Newman, the Bittersweet Certainty, and the Contradiction are sort of the table stakes. So we can maybe employ... I'll keep a tryst aside for now, but for the others... So we'll take the Fete. I'm sorry, I just have to read those indignities. Those are the rules. And then the Bittersweet Certainty will read the Ink book this time around. I don't... Well, I guess we can use the tryst in one case. I think this will take a noon. Yeah. So that would be the Black Book of Brittany. There we go. I'm going to just make some notes here to make sure that I'm keeping on top of things. We've got 3 of the 7 that I will need. So if I get Fear, Revelation, and Foresight, I still need to produce at least 1 more, which would likely be the Old Wound in this case. Right. So I was going to say the clouds would normally be helpful, except in this case where I'm using the Cyclone Eclipse to level up the Disciplines of the Scar. However, this might be good in restoring my Wormwood Dream. I can't remember how far off I am on that. I'm too short. It pains me to do this, but recall a forgotten crime of moon and winter. So it's not that hard to get the old wound back. Okay. Midwife's assistant says somber as autumn is kind as autumn. She also likes her beer. And here's what we're up against. The boathouse, the best way to come to Brandkrug unnoticed. Most recently, an unofficial means for Suppression Bureau officials to come and go. So there's the Brandkrug boathouse. The boat is gone, the sea remains. That is, of course, the way it usually works. Discard objects here, release beasts, or go for a swim. So we'll take an element of the soul, a thing, or a beast. I'm actually curious about the element of the soul. That's probably, yes, swimming requires an element of the soul with heart and scale. Generally, this means health. Fatigued and malady are not allowed. So submerged sea caves. The sea has claimed these caves. The tide thunders below. I'll need to find some way to lower the water before I can enter. So this requires circumstance with moon and scale, which is, of course, why we have the lower level pumps. These machines are different and newer manufacture than the ones above. They include something like a generator too, but they're in even worse condition. I'll need to provide suitable materials and fuel. I'll need scholar level forge to jury rig them. So this is within my abilities. Probably not something I want to do today. And what might be kind of nice is if I can generate the metal myself. So if I make a couple of Gervanites, which I think is probably best done with the amethyst ampules. Actually, I think I can also get away with using sand. In any case, I think we have some ways of navigating all of that. The other thing I can try and do here is generate like a name day riddle and an old moment. So what's the argument for and against in these cases? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements of the soul. I've got 3 of the requirements. Well, I guess it means that I get to keep more of my persistent stuff. So yeah, I think I'm going to make an effort to try and level these up as far as I can. So let's start with, let's maybe not St. Januarius, but the Solar Altar. Actually, better still, the Chancel. Actually, the Chancel won't take my lantern, so Faust will take Disciplines of the Scar. Now this is going to require a memory with lantern. Aha, there's the catch. So we'll wait for Mrs. Kill for that. For a name day riddle, though, we should be able to... Wait, why do I think a name day riddle is going to work here? Old wound, winning move, old moment. Yeah, I'm clearly not thinking straight. I am curious, though, if we can maybe wind up with a winning move. Surprising. Very curious. Okay, so the problem with this one is that if I have the edge memory to bring this to 10, I've got an input for the level up. So I don't think this makes a whole lot of sense. Although I did have an idea with the old moment. Finally found a use for the Tangle Brag, although I still need a memory in this case, so... So I'm not, like, this is kind of my reserve section. I'm saying that these are the 3 that I'm more comfortable working with just because all of these can be used to level up Disciplines of the Scar. And again, the focus right now is on trying to get things that I can use to level up the Disciplines of the Scar. So in this case, I'm going to sacrifice the Disciplines for a little bit. Actually, I wonder... Okay, Regret does work here. So I need one more lantern, and we had a surplus of these, so... Recall something lost, something scale aspected. Now, old moments don't last overnight, so this is one of these things that I want to get rid of as soon as possible. I also think the Nocturnary, we're probably going to use the health to bring back an old wound. Now, one option I have is using the Curious Hunch. Shame on me for not talking with Mrs. Kill. We could use the Curious Hunch and then just bring that back with Preliminal Meter. Those indignities perpetrated by the deceitful fraternity of Obliviates. It's not clear whether CROD, who is identified only by his initials, was in fact an initiate of the Obliviate Order of Immortal Adepts. He wrote in the 16th century, after the order, if he is to be believed, had passed the height of its power. 58, that they did claim inheritance of the traditions of the House of Leith, but that they have disregarded both its most sacred and most beautiful ceremonies where they are not found convenient. 59. 71. The Glassfinger toxin is no mere assassin's convenience for the Obliviates to confine to the disposal of their enemies. It has higher uses. Certainly it is a great matter of winter, but I've already outlined the technique by which it may be fitted for its ultimate destiny. The Black Book of Brittany, a volume of inklore gifted to St. Brendan's by Brian of Brittany, who was made Earl of Cornwall after the Norman Conquest. The black flower lies heavy, but the roots of the watchman's tree run deep. They may not be hidden forever. The black flowers, spoken of as a doom or guise, can be held at bay with the last ink of power, brewed from the pale mixture in the presence of sufficient winter, with the arts of containment. Bittersweet certainty. Eventually the sun in rags always brings its beautiful ending. As I used to say in my youth, the day is done, and so am I, but I've earned my pay. So this one we're just going to put straight back into renewing Heart. And finally, we have the Bells of Ys. Ys, by her arts, found the strike tone that shakes the hours. For this reason, among many, the hours discourage traffic with Ys, but a bell cast with this secret could speak the Ys note. And I think that's it for today. We've got a pretty clear plan in terms of where we're leveling up Disciplines of the Scar. I don't think I want to pin too many hopes on leveling it up all the way to level 9, by the end of today. But if I can get myself to a point where I'm not trying to replace any more, like if I can get to the point where I have the Wormwood Dream and the Old Wound, then the next day is sort of trivial in terms of using Sickle and Eclipse to level up Disciplines of the Scar. And of course, we've got plenty of winter left. The main hope here is just that with all the stuff that we've done with winter, to level up Disciplines of the Scar, what I will eventually do, we've got the red books here, and then we have the Sheretic Book of Suns, we've got Copperlith that follows, the Turquoise Hand, and I think even the 3 and the 3 are something that we would be able to read. In this case here, we're just making some decisions in terms of what we want to read before the end of the season. The sooner we read, the more likely we're going to be able to read multiple texts. But all of that will happen in the next stream. I'm going to be off tomorrow, as is the usual day off for broadcasting, but we will be back Wednesday for more Book of Hours. Thank you very much for watching. Take care until then.